Welcome to Echo Forge, dark fantasy and sci-fi stories from the edges of forgotten worlds. If you enjoy this kind of storytelling, hit like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next vision. Now, let's step through the gate.
Resonance. The station had started to hum, not loudly, not enough that anyone could point to a corner and say, "There, that's where it is." Just a low, persistent vibration in the bones of K-17, a half-heard note under the usual background of air recyclers and coolant pumps. Lira noticed it first on patrol. She paused mid-corridor, boots still, eyes tracking the familiar geometry of Deck 3. Same patched bulkheads, same scuffed floor, same slightly suspicious stain near the noodle kiosk nobody claimed responsibility for. And under it all, the hum, like a distant engine idling in her teeth. She tapped her comm. "Engineering, this is Officer Teth. I'm picking up a background vibration on Deck 3, Section B. Any maintenance scheduled?" There was a short burst of static, followed by a voice she had learned to file under problem. "Incoming." "Deck 3, Section B," Jax said. "Nope. Nothing more interesting than a bored vending machine down there. What kind of vibration are we talking? Musical? Emotional? Existential?" "Mechanical," she said. "Continuous. Low frequency." "Oof," he said. "That's the worst kind. All right, I'll send someone to lick a bulkhead and see if it tastes wrong." "Is that a standard engineering diagnostic?" she asked. "Only for the brave," he said. "You okay?" "Yes," she said. "Just observing." "That's my job," he said. "You're stealing my brand. I'll check the logs." The comm clicked off. The hum stayed. Lira moved on. By the end of the week, everyone had a different name for it. The Trivan merchants called it the Whisper in the Walls. The Sen diplomats complained it made their inner ears ache. The insectoid quartermaster declared it an unacceptable oscillation in inventory surfaces, as if the crates themselves had chosen to vibrate out of spite. Jax called it interesting. "Which," Lira said, standing in engineering with a data pad full of complaint reports, "is not reassuring." Engineering looked like a storm had passed through and decided to settle down and live there. Cables coiled like lazy snakes across the floor. Panels were open, exposing guts of machinery that hummed and blinked in slow, suspicious patterns. A hovering diagnostic hollow showed a wireframe of K-17 with colored overlays that meant more to Jax than anyone else. He stood in the middle of it all, hands on hips, squinting at the hollow. "Look at this," he said, gesturing. "You've got micro-oscillations in the structural members that don't line up with normal tidal stress from the gas giant. The station's singing." "Can we make it stop?" Lira asked. "Eventually," he said. "Probably. Maybe. The good news is, it's not going to shake apart tomorrow." "And the bad news?" she prompted. "The bad news," he said, "is that nobody turned this on. It just started." She studied the hollow. Could it be related to the firebreak retrieval? The firebreak. The weapon that had almost quietly erased them, now inert, and if his people had kept their word, removed from their orbit. Jax grimaced. "I checked," he said. "Our friendly neighborhood planet killer is gone. They pulled it out clean. If it left any fingerprints behind, they're not on the usual surfaces." "And your people's ship?" she asked. "Still present?" He tilted his head, eyes going distant for a second, like he was listening to something no one else could hear. "Farther out," he said. "They jumped to a higher orbit once the classification went through. Still watching, but from a respectable distance. Probably arguing about me in a meeting somewhere." "You're sure?" she pressed. "Yes," he said. "I know what their drives feel like. This isn't them." "Then what is it?" she asked. He hesitated. "Nature being weird," he said finally. "Or something we woke up by mistake." "You do not find those equally comforting?" she said. No, he admitted. I really don't. He flicked his fingers. The hollow zoomed in on a section of the station's ring, showing stress lines rendered in faint colors. Look, he said. You see this pattern? It looks like someone dropped a stone in a pond, she said. Exactly, he said. Only the stone apparently fell somewhere in the gas giant's magnetosphere, and we're the pond. Every time the field lines twist just right, we get a little nudge. Tiny, but consistent. Is it dangerous? She asked. Not yet, he said. If it gets stronger, we'll see microfractures, equipment drift, maybe some very annoyed gravity plates. For now, it's just a headache. Literally, in some cases. Commander Rahl wants a report, she said. He is already displeased with the number of headache forms coming across his desk. Tell Rahl I'm on it, Jax said, and tell him if he wants fewer headache complaints, he should stop reading my maintenance requests at midnight. I will not tell him that, she said. Coward, Jax said fondly. She watched him for a moment. Since the emissaries had left and his exile had become official, Jax had been different. Not dramatically. He still made jokes under pressure. He still treated danger like a puzzle with a punchline. But there was a looseness in him now, like some invisible tether had snapped. He moved through the station as if it were his in a way it hadn't been before, arguing with Rahl over budget allocations, jury-rigging 3 systems at once, showing up at the noodle kiosk to complain that the broth needed more salt. He belonged here, which made this new anomaly feel like an intrusion. Is there anything security can do? She asked. He glanced at her, surprised. What, beyond arresting the hum? He asked. If someone is tampering, she said, we can find them. His humor flickered. You think this is sabotage? He asked. I think, she said, that every time we have thought something was just the universe being unkind, someone with bad ideas has been involved. He considered that, then nodded slowly. Fair, he said. Okay, I'll give you a list of systems that, if messed with, could make this worse. You and your terrifying stun baton can make sure nobody's poking them without permission. That is my preferred kind of work, she said. I know, he said, smiling. It's very endearing, terrifying, but endearing. She ignored the way his casual praise made something warm twist in her chest. Keep me informed, she said. Always, he said. The first glitch happened 3 days later. Lira was on deck 5, halfway through mediating a dispute over gambling debts, when gravity turned off. 1 second she was standing, arms folded, staring down a Sen who insisted the Trivan had palmed an extra card. The next second, her stomach lurched, her boots left the floor, and everyone in the corridor suddenly discovered a profound new respect for inertia. Cards, loose credit chips, and 1 unfortunate bowl of noodles lifted into the air. Someone screamed. Someone else laughed in the high, hysterical way people did when reality stopped cooperating. Lira flailed once before her low-gravity instincts kicked in. Her homeworld had taught her to respect the difference between down and what used to be down. She planted a hand against the wall, pushed, and oriented herself. Everyone grab something, she snapped. Now. Hands went to railings, door frames, exposed piping. A Trivan merchant grabbed their own tail and wound it around a conduit. The bowl of noodles drifted serenely past, like a tiny, confused planet. Then gravity came back. Hard. Everybody hit the floor in a clattering, cursing pile. Lira managed to land in a controlled crouch, absorbing the extra G with a hiss between her teeth. Her joints protested. Her people were not built for these levels. Alarms chimed. Deck 5 to control, someone shouted into a comm. We just had a grav plate failure. What? Lyra's badge pinged. She tapped it. Teth. Jax's voice came through, too calm. Lira, tell me nobody broke anything important, he said. Several egos, she said. Possibly a noodle bowl. That's not the kind of mass redistribution I was worried about, he said. but good to know. You okay? Yes, she said. What happened? A spike in the resonance, he said. It lined up with the gravity field cycle and kicked half the plates out for a second. I caught it on the rebound, but it overshot on the correction. Can you prevent it from happening again? She asked. I can try, he said. But if the pulses get stronger, we'll see more glitches. I'm working on a dampening algorithm. In plain language, she said. In plain language, he said. The station and the gas giant have decided to play a duet, and I'm trying to teach one of them to shut up. Which one? She asked. The one I live inside, he said. Good choice, she said. I occasionally have those, he replied. Keep your people away from exposed drops, okay? Just in case. I will, she said. She cut the channel and surveyed the corridor. The gamblers were picking themselves up, groaning. One of the Sen clutched their head. My inner ear is suing, they hissed. File it with Ral, Lira said. He enjoys complaints. That is a lie, one of the bystanders muttered. She did not correct them. Reports came in over the next 2 shifts. Deck 2. A cargo lift shuddered, stopped, and then briefly tried to move sideways. Deck 7. Water in the wreck pool sloshed hard enough to slop over the edge and drench a group of off-duty engineers, prompting a minor brawl. Deck 1. A navigational display flashed 2 ghost images of the station, offset by a fraction of a second, before snapping back into place. The hum grew. Lira read every report, filed them, then walked down to the gym at their usual time. It was becoming a reflex now. Crisis, paperwork, Jax. He was there, of course. Today's workout was less upside-down death and more creative misuse of equipment. He had dragged 2 benches together, balanced a weighted bar across them, and was lying on the floor underneath, pushing the bar up in short, controlled bursts. This is an unsafe configuration, Lira said from the doorway. It's only unsafe if you stand under it, he said, which would be impressive, given the current spatial layout. She walked in, letting the door slide shut behind her. You experienced the glitch? She asked. Deck 4, corridor outside Ral's office, he said. I've never seen an insectoid hit the ceiling before. 10 out of 10, would not recommend. Does he blame you? She asked. He always blames me, Jax said. This time he might be right, which is the worst part. She watched the bar rise and fall. You think this is your fault? She said. I think, he said, that the timing sucks too much to be coincidence. We call home, we wrestle a firebreak, my people tag this system as special. They yank a piece of exotic hardware out of orbit, and a week later, the gas giant decides to hum a new song. Either the universe has a sense of humor, or someone bumped something they shouldn't have. Your people? She asked. Maybe, he said. Maybe just the firebreak. It was designed to ride weird gradients, could have stirred up something on the way out. Or maybe this system was weird from the beginning, and I'm just now noticing because I've got less existential dread in the foreground. He exhaled, pushing the bar up with a grunt, then racking it carefully on the benches. I hate not knowing, he admitted. You left a civilization built on knowing, she said. Yeah, he said, and now the universe is throwing me pop quizzes. He sat up, wiping sweat from his forehead. Lira hesitated. People saw things, she said, during the glitch. He frowned. Things? On deck 1, she said. A freighter navigator reported seeing 2 stations on his scope. For a moment. Overlain, not separate. On deck 2, a dock worker claims she saw herself. Twice. Reflected in the same panel. He blinked. That's not how reflections work, he said. No, she said. It is not. He scratched his jaw, thinking. Resonance in the EM field could make sensors stutter, he said. But seeing yourself twice, that's new. You have no reference from your people? She asked. He gave her a reluctant look. There are classified reports, he said slowly. about regions where space-time gets fuzzy, places where mass and information don't behave nicely, where you see echoes. Echoes, she repeated. Of things that might have been, he said, or might be, or are, in a slightly different branch of probability. We don't like those places. You quarantine them? She asked. Preferably, he said. Or we put very large warning signs in our own systems and then pretend they don't exist. And when they exist around a limited interaction zone? She asked. He grimaced. Then I get to figure it out with duct tape instead of a proper lab, he said. Is the station in danger? She asked. Yes, he said. No, maybe. If the resonance grows, we'll see more glitches. If we hit a harmonic, we could get structural stress, up to, and including, we tear ourselves apart like a bad violin string. But we're not there. Yet. Reassuring, she said. I'm trying a new thing where I don't lie to you about risk levels, he said. Is it working? It is. Consistent, she said. He snorted. I'll take that as a yes, he said. Look, I'm working on it. I can't stop the gas giant being weird, but I might be able to change how the station responds, shift our natural frequencies, detune the resonance, that sort of thing. In plain language, she prompted. In plain language, he said, if the universe is trying to make us dance to its beat, I'd like to teach K-17 to have 2 left feet. That is also not reassuring, she said. Low bar, he said. I can clear it. She watched him for a moment, weighing something. Can your people help? She asked. He flinched, just a little. Probably, he said. If I called them, if I asked, if I wanted to invite that level of attention back into a place we just got mostly free. You are exiled, she said. Does that prevent emergency contact? Not technically, he said, but politically. I used up a lot of goodwill getting them not to murder you. I don't get to ring the bell every time the pipes rattle. She didn't like that answer. She understood it anyway. Then we handle it, she said. He smiled, faint and tired. Yeah, he said. We do. There were other eyes on the hum. On deck 6, in a cramped lab carved out of what had once been a storage bay, Dr. Alesh Marek watched the sensor logs and smiled. She was small, for a human, shorter even than Lira, with skin the color of warm copper and hair shaved close to the scalp. Her eyes were sharp, disciplined, the kind that had spent most of their life squinting at data. K-17 was not where she had expected to end up. It was supposed to be a stepping stone, a 2-year contract studying outer belt debris, then a proper position at a core world institute. But funding dried, universities downsized, and outer stations forgot to send transfer papers. She'd been here 5 years. She'd learned to live with the smell of coolant and fried protein, the background aches of station gravity, the bureaucratic weight of Rahal's insistence on proper forms. She'd also learned that the universe was not fair in who it gave interesting phenomena to. The hum, for example, should have been hers. Instead, it belonged, unofficially, to a too tall, too charming off-worlder with an inexplicable knack for systems and a file Rahal had marked restricted access in a way that piqued her scientific fury. Jax. They said he was just an engineer. Alesh Marek had met just engineers. They did not talk about field harmonics with the casual ease of someone who had studied gravitational manifolds in a dedicated facility. They did not look at the hum's signatures and go interesting instead of terrifying. She had asked him once over bad coffee where he had trained. He'd smiled and said, correspondence course. She had not laughed. Now she watched the same resonance patterns he did, on a less sophisticated rig. She saw the way the oscillations aligned with the gas giant's magnetic flux. She saw the micro-glitches in sensor timing. She saw the brief, flickering double images in some cameras, the same image, offset by fractions of a second. Her heart pounded. This was not mere mechanical noise. This was Information. She leaned closer to the screen, fingers flying over controls, isolating one instance, a camera feed from a maintenance corridor on Deck 4. For 3 frames, the image split, the corridor as it was, and the same corridor with a maintenance hatch open that, in reality, was closed. She overlaid the frames. The difference was tiny, but it was real. "Hello," she whispered. "What are you?" She pulled up another log, this one from the observation deck, a view of the stars. For a fraction of a second during the last glitch, a faint ring of light appeared in the feed, hanging above the gas giant like a ghost. Her breath caught. She backed the footage up, frame by frame. On the 3rd repetition, she realized what she was seeing. It was the silhouette of a ship, the concordant vessel, the one only Jax seemed to sense, except this was recorded from before it had arrived. Her skin prickled. "We're not just humming," she murmured. "We're echoing." The thought slid into place with a sick, electric thrill. If the resonance could pull that into view, a ship whose technology was designed to be unseen, what else could it show? What other branches might it be brushing against? Her academic curiosity, which had been starved half to death on routine debris trajectories and grant rejections, sat up and howled. She saved the logs to a private buffer. Ral would shut this down if she brought it to him. Jax. Jax would look at it, go 20 shades paler, and then try to smother the phenomenon in safety protocols. They were thinking like administrators. She was thinking like a scientist. This was the kind of phenomenon careers were built on, the kind of thing that got you remembered in journals and textbooks, not as the one who calibrated dock-field sensors in the outer rim, but as the one who mapped cross-branch resonance signatures in live environments. She stood, pacing the tiny lab. To study it properly, she needed more signal, stronger oscillations, cleaner captures. The station's natural response, Jax's dampening algorithms, were working against her. If she wanted to see deeper, she'd have to help the universe along. She stared at the schematic on her wall, a crude printout of K-17's structure. She'd marked the primary mass nodes, the points where thrusters, cargo distribution, and structural rings intersected. Resonance was, at its heart, about frequency. Change the pattern of mass, and you change the song. Just a little, just enough. She leaned over her console and began to plan. "Someone is helping," Jax said. Lira frowned. "Helping what?" "The hum," he said. "Or the gas giant. Or the universe. Hard to say which." They were in the sensor room this time, the holo display showing graphs instead of wireframes. Jagged lines traced oscillation amplitudes over time. Some looked random. One did not. "You see this spike?" he said, pointing. "That's the gravity glitch on Deck 5. Nice, tidy correlation with the magnetosphere shift. Nature being rude. But this..." He pointed to another rise, smaller, different shape. "This is not natural drift," he said. "That's someone moving mass in a pattern that lines up way too well with the resonance curve." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "Explain," she said. "Picture the station as a bell," he said. "The gas giant taps it. We ring. That's the baseline hum. Now imagine someone takes a mallet and taps the bell again at just the right moment. Same rhythm. The sound gets louder, clearer. That's what this is. Someone is ringing us on purpose." "To what end?" she demanded. He rubbed his face. "If they're smart," he said, "they're trying to map the resonance, get clearer data. If they're stupid, they're trying to see what happens when we go louder." "And what happens?" she pressed. He met her gaze. "Best case," he said, "we get more glitches, more double images. People get spooked. Worst case, we hit a harmonic, and the station tears in half." "That is not allowed," she said. "I agree," he said, "which is why you get to do your favorite thing." "What is that?" she asked. "Hunt," he said. Finding the saboteur should have been straightforward. They had logs of mass movements, cargo transfers, thruster firings, routine maintenance. They had timestamps for the suspicious spikes. They had Jax's list of things that, if moved in this specific sequence, would be very bad. But K-17 was a big station, and people had been moving things in stupid ways since its construction. Lira cross-referenced, sorted, filtered. She dragged 3 junior officers into the task with the kind of calm, relentless focus that made them work faster just to avoid being noticed. A pattern emerged. Deck 6, auxiliary storage. A cluster of cargo masses had been shifted twice in the past 48 hours in a pattern that made no sense for logistics and perfect sense for someone trying to adjust the station's balance. Deck 6, Section E, she said, jabbing the coordinate on her pad. Who has access? Maintenance, logistics, Dr. Marek's lab, one of the juniors said. Marek? Lira repeated. Research contract, the junior said. Physics. She files a lot of complaints about sensor time on the array. Lira's memory supplied a face. Short, intense, eyes like she was measuring the universe for parts. Engineering likes her, another junior added. She brought them better coffee once. She bribed them, Lira said. Of course they like her. She stood. Stay on the logs, she said. Flag any new mass shifts that match this pattern. I'll handle Marek. Understood, sir, the junior said. Lira headed for Deck 6. Dr. Alesh Marek did not look surprised when security walked into her lab. Annoyed, yes. Offended, certainly. But not surprised. I filed my clearance forms last quarter, she said, not looking up from her console. If Raoul lost them, that's between you and your filing system, not me. You have been moving cargo in auxiliary storage, Lira said. Yes, Marek said, because I use equipment and our dear logistics officer thinks a spectrometer can be stacked under a crate of mining drills. In patterns that align with the station's resonance curve, Lira added. That made Marek look up. Her eyes were very bright. You noticed, she said. That is my job, Lira said. What is yours? Physics, Marek said. The kind nobody wants to fund until it creates a weapon. That inspires confidence, Lira said dryly. Marek sighed, pushed back from her console, and stood. Look, she said. I know what it looks like. Shadowy scientist messing with station mass while weird things happen. I get it. But I'm not trying to break K-17. What are you trying to do? Lira asked. Understand, Marek said simply. Do you have any idea what's happening out there? Yes, Lira said. An engineer is losing sleep. Marek snorted. Jax? She said. Yes, I imagine he is. But this is bigger than his ego. She tapped a command. The lab's main holoprojector lit, showing a 3D map of resonance amplitude over time. These are your glitches, Marek said. Gravity, visual, sensor. Now watch what happens if I overlay the magnetosphere data. She did. The peaks lined up. Then Marek added something else. Ghost images, faint but present, of camera feeds with double exposures. I've been catching echoes, Marek said quietly. Frames where the station isn't quite what it is, where doors are open that should be closed, where there's a ship outside that isn't there yet, or any more, or at all. Lira's skin chilled. You are seeing other times, she said. Other branches, Marek corrected. Possibly. I don't know. But it's information. The resonance is carrying more than just mechanical stress. It's carrying structure, histories, possibilities. And you are trying to amplify it, Lira said. Yes, Marek said. Carefully, incrementally. If I can get a clearer signal, we could start mapping the topology of these echoes. Figure out what we're looking at. Learn something genuinely new about how reality handles variance. You are also increasing the risk to this station, Lira said. Marek stiffened. Risk is inherent in discovery, she said. Not when the risk is 4,000 lives, Lira said. Marek's jaw tightened. "You think your engineer understands this better than I do?" she said. "He doesn't. He recognizes the pattern, maybe, but he's thinking like someone who wants to turn everything into a safety protocol. I'm thinking like someone who knows we might not get another phenomenon like this in my lifetime, or yours, or his." "That is not a justification," Lira said. "It's an argument," Marek said. "You can at least acknowledge it's a good one." "It is a clever one," Lira said. "That is not the same." Marek exhaled, pinching the bridge of her nose. "Look," she said. "I'm not trying to hit a harmonic. I'm not stupid. I'm nudging the mass pattern just enough to ride the edges of the natural resonance, not amplify it outright. We can learn. We can see. And if we understand it, maybe we can actually control it." "And if you miscalculate?" Lira asked. "Then Jax flips his big red emergency switch, and we all get flung into the gas giant," Marek said. "Or not. But if we shut this down now, we're blind. We'll be at the mercy of whatever the giant throws at us. I'd rather meet it armed." Lira considered her. She had never been a scientist. On her homeworld, understanding had meant knowing which crevasses would kill you and which ice sheets would hold. Curiosity had been a luxury. Here, in the narrow metal ring hanging over a storm, curiosity had teeth. "What have you seen?" Lira asked quietly. "In these echoes?" Marek hesitated. "Glitches," she said. "Shadows. A few clear frames. On deck 3, a corridor where the hum started a day later. Only in the frame, it was already there. Deck 1, the observation viewport showing the concordant ship's light ring hours before it arrived. We're brushing against alternate timing." "Alternate," Lira repeated. Marek swallowed. "And once," she said, "very briefly, the station wasn't there at all." Lira's stomach clenched. "For how long?" she asked. "Half a second," Marek said. "In one camera. Could be an artifact. Could be nothing. Could be something we need to understand before it becomes more than half a second." "And to do that," Lira said, "you will keep moving cargo in illegal patterns." Marek's chin lifted. "I will keep nudging the mass in carefully calculated patterns," she said. "Yes." "That stops now," Lira said. Marek's eyes flashed. "You don't get to make that call," she said. "You're security. You deal with fights in corridors. This is a threat to station integrity," Lira cut in. "That makes it my concern." "And Jax's," Marek snapped. "He's the one who'll understand this. If you shut me down, he'll just do it himself quietly." "No," Lira said. "He will not." "You're sure?" Marek said. "Yes," Lira said. "He is reckless, but he is not indifferent." Marek's expression shuttered for a moment. "And I am indifferent?" she asked coldly. "I do not know," Lira said. "I know you are hungry." Marek flinched as if struck. Lira stepped forward, lowering her voice. "Dr. Marek," she said, "I am not saying this is unimportant. I am saying we will not gamble lives on your calculations alone." "And if you never gamble," Marek said, voice tight, "you never learn anything new. You just survive. Is that all this station is to you? A place to not die?" "Yes," Lira said simply, "and a place for others to not die. That is my job. It is enough." "It's not enough for me," Marek whispered. "I know," Lira said. "That is why I am here." She keyed her wristpad, pulled up a form, and sent it to Marek's console. "By order of Commander Raal," she said, "any mass movements in auxiliary storage require security clearance until the resonance is stabilized. You will cease your experiments." Marek stared at the notification, jaw clenched. "I can appeal," she said. "Yes," Lira said. "To Raal. He will listen. He may even agree in principle. But until then, you will not touch the station's balance." Marek's hands curled into fists. "Get out of my lab," she said. Lira held her gaze for a moment longer, then nodded. "Thank you for your cooperation," she said. It was not cooperative. It was, however, contained. For now. It lasted 2 days. On the third, the station nearly lost a ship. Lira was on the observation deck when it happened, not because of any prophetic sense, but because she'd found herself drawn to the viewport more often since the hum began. The gas giant filled half the view, bands of ochre and violet, storms the size of continents churning in slow, lethal majesty. Above it, stars. Somewhere farther out, invisible, the concordant ship lurked like a disapproving parent. She leaned against the railing, feeling the hum in her forearms. Her comm buzzed. "Officer Teth," came the navigation officer's voice. "We have a freighter on final approach and a slight discrepancy in its telemetry. Could you—" The deck flickered. For a fraction of a second, the gas giant jumped. Not much, just enough that the bands seemed to blur, then snap back, as if reality had double-exposed itself around them. Lyra's eyes snapped to the hollow display beside the viewport. It showed K-17 as a wireframe ring, the freighter's path a clean arc toward Dock 3. Then, for 2 frames, there were 2 rings, offset. The freighter's path intersected one. The display stuttered, fuzzed, and then cleared. Single ring. Freighter vector corrected. "Nav," Lira said, voice low. "Report." "We almost lost her," came the strained reply. For a second, the station's beacon duplicated. 2 signals, half a kilometer apart. The freighter's systems tried to split the difference. We got manual override in time. "Casualties?" she asked. "None," Nav said. "Minor bruises. Major swearing. What the hell was that?" "Resonance," Lira said. "I will get you an explanation when engineering writes one." She cut the channel and tapped her wrist. "Jax," she said. "Dock 3 just nearly became a debris field." "Yeah," he said. "I felt it. That was a big pulse." "Someone ringing the bell?" she asked. He hesitated. "Not this time," he said. "I've got Marek locked out of the mass control loops. I checked. This was all giant. No help required." "That is not an improvement," she said. "No," he agreed. "It is not." "Can you still detune us?" she asked. He exhaled. "Yes," he said. "Maybe. I had more time in my head. We're losing that. The pulses are getting stronger, closer together. Whatever's happening out there is ramping up." "How long?" she asked. "If it keeps doubling like this," he said. "Hours. A day, if we're lucky." "To station failure?" she asked. "To us reaching a state where failure is a spectrum from mild structural damage to sudden intimate acquaintance with the gas giant's upper atmosphere," he said. "Choose the mild end," she said. "I'm trying," he said, "but I need to take some bigger swings, which is where you come in." "Security," she guessed. "And violence," he said. "Of a sort." She frowned. "Explain." "I can't change the gas giant," he said, "but I can change the station's response. To do that quickly, I need to move mass fast. Cargo, fuel, redundant machinery. I'm going to turn parts of K-17 into moving ballast." "That sounds destructive," she said. "Only if I do it badly," he said. "And security?" she pressed. "People don't like it when you start shoving their stuff around," he said. "I need you to keep decks clear, calm everyone down, and stop anyone from trying to help by rearranging things themselves. Also, Marek is going to explode when she realizes I'm doing deliberately what she got yelled at for." "She will appeal," Lira said. "She can appeal from a safe distance," he said, "preferably behind 3 locked doors." "You are going to make many people very angry," Lira said. "Good," he said. "Maybe they'll forget to be scared for 5 minutes." She stared out at the gas giant. It looked unchanged. It always did. "We will coordinate," she said. "Send me your list." "Already on your pad," he said. "Lira?" "Yes?" "Don't let anyone stand near a big stack of crates for the next few hours," he said. "Including you." "Understood," she said. "And thanks," he added, softer. For what? She asked. For trusting me with the bell, he said. Trust turned out to involve a great deal of shouting. Where is my oar? A miner demanded on deck 4 as a cargo sled trundled past, crates labeled with hazard symbols stacked dangerously high. In a safer configuration, Lira said, walking alongside the sled like a particularly humorless escort. You will get it back. Engineering has no right to... Engineering has the right to keep the station intact, she snapped. They are exercising it. File a complaint with RAL. The miner swore and stomped off. Lira keyed her comm. Teth to control. Cargo redistribution proceeding on schedule in sectors B and C. Copy, came RAL's dry voice. I have already received 16 complaints, 3 threats, and 1 poetic lament about the theft of mass. Remind Engineer Jax that if this fails, I will personally eject him into the gas giant. I will relay it, Lira said. She would not. She knew Jax had already thought of worse possibilities. She reached the next junction and watched as another sled rumbled by, headed toward the outer structural ring. On her wrist pad, Jax's plan unfolded, a complex choreography of mass movements designed to shift K-17's natural vibration frequencies away from the gas giant's driver. It looked like nonsense to her. Numbers, vectors, stress maps. To him, it was music. He was trying to retune the station mid-song. Deck 7 mass shift complete, came a voice over the shared channel. Fuel tanks locked to new position. Copy, Jax said. He sounded more tense than she'd ever heard him. Lock in the thruster offsets. Do not fire without my signal. Understood. Marek's voice cut in on a different channel. Jax, she said, you're making it worse. Lira rolled her eyes. Not now, Marek, Jax said. Kind of in the middle of saving your data points. You are disrupting the resonance pattern, Marek said. Randomly. Not randomly, he said. Intelligently. There's a difference. You're introducing noise, she said. I can't separate natural pulses from mechanical interference anymore. That's the point, he said. If the giant can't get a clean grip on us, it can't slam us into a harmonic. You're throwing away an opportunity for a once-in-a-lifetime observation, she snapped. I am throwing away the chance to see what we look like as a smear on the upper atmosphere, he said. You can complain about lost data after we don't die. You're being cowardly, she said. I'm being lively, he said, which is a form of cowardice I'm very okay with. Lira, how's your side? She cut in before Marek could say something that would escalate. Clearing the way, she said. People are resistant. Resistant how? He asked. Some do not wish to give up their cargo, she said. Some do not believe the threat is real. Some say they saw things during the last glitch and want to see more. Curiosity, he muttered. Worst epidemic in the galaxy. You have it, she pointed out. I have a controlled strain, he said. Lira wasn't sure she believed that. She rounded another corner. The hum rose suddenly. It wasn't just in the walls now. It was in her skull, buzzing behind her eyes. Her vision blurred at the edges. Jax, she said quietly. It's getting stronger. I know, he said. I'm seeing spikes across all decks. We're hitting the edge of the response curve. If this next one lines up just right, we're going for a ride. Can we stop it? She asked. Maybe, he said, if we push back at the right moment. Plain language, she said. I'm going to fire the station's lateral thrusters in a pattern that will make everyone think we're drunk, he said. It'll jolt our structural modes out of sync with the resonance, or tear us apart. 50-50. Improve the odds, she said. Working on it, he said. I'm going to need manual confirmation from the thruster control on Deck 2. The automatic relays are too slow. Someone has to be there to hit the override on my mark. I will do it, she said. No, he said immediately. I need you on the outer decks, keeping people away from falling things. Jax, she said. I am closer to Deck 2 than any other trained officer. and I have the best balance." "That last part is true," he said. "You're like a very angry cat." "Then I will do it," she said. He hesitated. "Okay," he said. "Go. I'll feed you the sequence." She cut into a maintenance stairwell, taking the steps 4 at a time. The hum rose. Halfway down, the world rippled. There was no better word. For a split second, the stairwell corridor was replaced by another. Same geometry, different colors. The walls were cleaner, the safety notices in different fonts. Her own body was there and not there, a double exposure of motion. She saw herself a pace ahead, moving with a slightly different stride. Then it snapped back. She stumbled, caught the railing, heart hammering. "Jax," she said. "Yeah," he said. "Got it too. Echo intensity just spiked. We're brushing something deep." "I saw myself," she said. "Everyone's been reporting that," he said. "Echoes. Don't let it get in your head." "Hard," she said. "I know," he said. "Just remember, you're the one whose baton is real. Hit the controls, not the ghosts." "Understood," she said. She hit Deck 2 with her muscles burning and her lungs protesting the station's gravity. Thruster control was a small room, more often used by autosystems than humans. A physical console dominated one wall, labeled switches, manual toggles, a large red lever that looked almost comically archaic. Lira liked it instantly. "Talk to me," she said, sealing the door. "Okay," Jax said. "We've got about 90 seconds before the next major pulse hits. When it does, I need you to throw the manual override, and then, on my mark, toggle thrusters in the exact sequence I call out. No hesitations, no corrections, just trust." "I do not enjoy that word," she said. "Get used to it," he said. "We're going to be using it a lot." The hum built. The console vibrated under her hands. Her vision shimmered again. For an instant, she saw the room full of smoke, panels sparking, the red lever broken and dangling. Her stomach clenched. Then it was gone. "Jax," she said, "these echoes are lies," he said quickly. "Possibilities, not certainties. Do not let them freeze you." "It showed me failure," she said. "Of course it did," he said. "The universe has a terrible sense of humor." The hum peaked, a pressure against her eardrums. "Now," Jax said. "Override." She slammed the lever down. The console's indicator lights shifted from green to amber. Manual control engaged. The hum became a growl. "Here it comes," Jax said. "Get ready to make the station very seasick. 3, 2, 1, now. Port mid-thrusters, short burst." She hit the switch. The deck lurched. Her knees bent automatically, compensating. "Starboard forward, longer burst," Jax said. "Now, aft port, half power. Good. Again." She obeyed, fingers flying. Outside, the station groaned as the thrusters fired in patterns designed by a mind that had studied machine harmonics under far more controlled circumstances. Inside, every loose object that hadn't been tied down became a projectile. On Deck 3, a stack of crates toppled and slid, narrowly missing a cluster of civilians that Lyra's juniors shoved out of the way. On Deck 6, Marek's lab equipment skidded across the floor, her carefully arranged detectors crashing into each other. In engineering, Jax clung to the central console, eyes glued to the live structural stress map, muttering numbers under his breath. "Again," he said. "Deck 2, aft starboard, hard, now." Lira threw the switch. The hum shuddered. For a heartbeat, the echoes intensified. She saw herself in 3 positions at once. One at the console, one a step back, one on the floor with blood on her forehead. She chose the one at the console. Her hand moved. The thrusters fired. The resonance pattern on Jax's display twisted. They skipped the peak. The stress map flickered from orange to yellow. "Come on," he whispered. "Come on." Another pulse hit, smaller, out of phase. The hum dropped an octave, then 2, then faded, like a note finally allowed to die. Silence rushed in. It was almost loud. "Lira," Jax said, voice hoarse. "Talk to me." She realized she was braced so hard her hands ached. "I am upright," she said. "Console intact. Room intact." "Good," he said. "You did it." "We did it," she said. He laughed, a shaking sound. "Yeah," he said. "We did." Her knees tried to fold. She locked them. "Status?" she asked. "Resonance amplitude dropped by 60%, he said. "We kicked ourselves out of the primary harmonic. We'll still get ripples, but nothing like before." "And structural integrity?" she pressed. "Within tolerance," he said. "We lost some cargo, a few unsecured fixtures, Marek's temper, but the ring holds." She exhaled slowly. "I will check on casualties," she said. "I'll send med teams to any hotspots," he said. "Lira?" "Yes?" "You were brilliant," he said. Heat crept up her throat. "I followed instructions," she said. "Yeah," he said, "but with style." She shook her head. "Handle the system," she said. "I will handle the people." "Yes, officer," he said. The aftermath was ugly. No deaths. That was the good news. The bad news came in the form of broken bones, concussions, bruises, and a small wave of panic as rumors outran facts. Lira walked the decks until her legs felt like they belonged to someone else, checking on med crews, reassuring civilians, arresting 2 opportunists who tried to loot a toppled cargo load. Marek met her in the corridor outside the lab, eyes blazing. "You butchered my data," the physicist said. "You are welcome," Lira replied. "You scrambled the noise so badly I can't separate the natural resonance from your thruster pattern," Marek said, gesturing wildly. "Do you know what we could have seen?" "Yes," Lira said. "Our own debris." Marek's mouth compressed. "We could have understood," she said. "You can still study the logs," Lira said. "From the safe side." "It's not the same," Marek said. "No," Lira said. "It is not. It is better." Marek looked like she wanted to argue. Then she saw something in Lira's expression. Exhaustion, maybe, or the memory of 3 overlapping bodies at a console, and stopped. "Fine," she said, rubbing her eyes. "Fine. I'll work with what we have." "You will work with engineering," Lira said, "if they agree, and only within parameters that do not risk the station." "Commander Raoul's orders?" Marek asked flatly. "Mine," Lira said. Marek studied her for a moment. "You saw something," she said softly. "Didn't you? In the echoes." Lira thought of the smoked, broken version of the thruster room, of herself on the floor, blood on her face. "Yes," she said. "What?" Marek asked. "Failure," Lira said simply, "and I am not interested in visiting that branch." Marek swallowed. "Fair," she said. She retreated into her lab. Lira moved on. Hours later, after the last casualty had been checked, after Raoul had delivered a scathing lecture about unapproved mass redistribution, and then, grudgingly, thanked Jax for saving his station, Lira found herself in the gym. She had not meant to go there. Her feet had decided for her. Jax was already there. He sat on the floor with his back against a bench, legs stretched out, staring at the ceiling. A half-empty water pack lay beside him. His hair was a mess. He looked tired. Properly, deeply tired. "Hey," he said as she entered. "You lived." "Yes," she said. "An ongoing habit." "Good," he said. "Keep it up." She walked over and sat on the floor opposite him, mirroring his posture. For a while they just breathed. The hum was still there, faint and distant now, more memory than presence. "Structural integrity?" she asked. "Holding," he said. "We'll need to check all the joints, recalibrate half the sensors, and apologize to 3 different deck chiefs, but we're not about to fall into the sky." Casualties, she said. Minor, he said. No fatalities. A few broken bones, some bad bruises, a flood of very creative curses directed at both of us. Ral is composing a new policy about engineered grav events. I think he's going to name it after me. It will be a long policy, she said. It's his love language, he said. She huffed a laugh. They fell quiet again. I saw myself die, he said abruptly. She looked up. In the echoes, he clarified. On deck 1. For a second, there was another me, and then there wasn't. I've seen a lot of simulations, a lot of projections. That felt close. She swallowed. Thruster room, she said. I saw myself on the floor, bleeding. Yeah, he said quietly. I figured the echo nodes would cluster around high stress points. Your branch just happened to not be that one. Our branch, she said. He smiled faintly. Yeah, he said. Ours. She studied his face. What else did you see? She asked. He hesitated. A version where I went back with them, he said finally. My people. Brief glimpse. White rooms. Clean lines. Me in a uniform I haven't worn in a long time. Looking older. Tired in a different way. You did not like it, she said. No, he said. I didn't. Good, she said. He snorted. You're very opinionated about my alternate selves, he said. Even your alternates make poor choices, she said. Consistent. Ouch, he said. Right in the multiverse. She let that sit for a moment. You are exiled, she said. Cut off from certain protections. You have chosen to stay in a place where the gas giant sings, and raiders attack, and my commander threatens to eject you weakly. And the noodles are bad, he added. And the noodles are bad, she agreed. Do you regret it? He tilted his head, considering. No, he said. Scared? Yes. Regretful? No. Why? She asked. He glanced at her, then away, then back again, as if debating something with himself. Because when the echoes came, he said slowly, and I saw all the ways this could have gone wrong. Me leaving, you dying, the station gone. This is the branch where we're still here, sitting on a gym floor complaining about noodles. For someone who grew up being told to stay objective, that feels worth something. Heat rose in her cheeks. You are sentimental, she said. Don't tell anyone, he said. It'll ruin my reputation. She hesitated. I saw one where you were gone, she said quietly. Just not there. The gym was empty. He blinked. And? He asked. And I did not like it, she said. He smiled, soft and lopsided. I'll do my best to avoid that one, he said. You almost died today, she said. Yeah, he said. We both did. We will again, she said. Probably, he said. This is K-17. We attract nonsense. She nodded once. It does not feel hypothetical anymore, she said. Your people, their weapons, this hum, these echoes. We are entangled. Welcome to my world, he said. She scowled. I do not want your world, she said. I want my station. You can have both, he said. For now. She looked at him. You are very calm, she said. I'm very tired, he corrected. You make jokes, she said. Default setting, he said. If I stop, I have to sit with how much we don't know. I don't like that. She leaned her head back against the bench. The next time something hums, she said, we will not wait a week. Agreed, he said. We jump on it earlier. We listen more carefully. We make better coffee. She glanced at him. You think better coffee will prevent catastrophes? She asked. I think better coffee will make us more charming when we argue with the universe, he said. And with Marek. She is still angry, Lira said. Good, he said. She'll write a very aggressive paper about all the data we did get. It'll make our little branch famous in some niche physics circle. You'll hate it. I already hate it, she said. He laughed. Silence settled over them again, this time less fraught. The hum was barely there now, a memory buried under the familiar pulse of the station. Outside, the gas giant turned. The concordant ship, far out, adjusted its sensors and logged the event as localized detuning, with a footnote about unauthorized embedded agent introducing novel mitigation strategy. In a quiet gym on Deck 2, a security officer from a low-gravity world and a brilliant, ridiculous exile watched the blank ceiling and breathed in sync. "I'm glad you were at the console," he said suddenly. "I was the only one with sufficient balance," she said. "That too," he said. "But it was you. That mattered." She frowned slightly. "Why?" she asked. "Because," he said, "when I say, 'throw the switch on my mark,' you don't second-guess me. You just do it. And when you say, 'stop tinkering with the station mass,' I listen, most of the time." "That is cooperation," she said. "That's trust," he said. She considered that. "Yes," she said, "it is." He smiled up at the ceiling. "We're in the same gravity well now, you know," he said. "You and me. This place. Whatever weirdness the universe throws at us, we're going to feel the tug together." "That is not very poetic," she said. "I'm an engineer," he said. "You want poetry? Ask Marek, or Ral, if you like policy verse." She snorted. He turned his head, studying her profile. "Lira," he said. "Yes?" "If you ever see an echo where I'm about to do something really stupid," he said, "feel free to hit that version of me, too." "I do not need echoes for that," she said. He laughed, full and genuine. "Fair," he said. "Very fair." She let herself smile. Just a little. Dangerous warmth, she thought. The universe might hum and twist and show them all the ways things could have gone differently. It might shake their station until the bolts squealed. But as long as this branch held, this narrow line where Jax sat on her deck, making bad jokes, and the gas giant stayed at a polite distance, and Rahal's complaints remained about paperwork instead of memorials, she could live with the hum. She closed her eyes. Tomorrow, someone would complain about cargo. Marek would argue about data. Jax would find a way to misuse gym equipment in the interest of research. And if the universe tried to ring them again, they'd answer. Together. For now, that was enough.
Thanks for watching Echo Forge. If this story resonated with you, leave a comment, hit like, and subscribe so the next tale finds you. Share this with someone who loves dark fantasy or twisted sci-fi, and I'll see you in the next world.